When I was little, I was terrified of scorpions, and I grew up in Jamaica with my grandparents, and so there were lots of scorpions around. One day I was in my grandmother's store, um, and a whole bunch of women had come to purchase clothing. So the women went into another room to try on their clothes and left me sitting on the chair in the main area. So I was sitting there just, listening to their talk and their chatter, and just, how women talk, and it's comforting and that sort of thing. And I was there daydreaming. And then I looked down, and there was this giant black scorpion on the ground right beside my chair. It had maybe, I don't know, 10 or 12 babies riding on its back, because that's what scorpions, the female scorpions, do. They carry their babies on their back. And I just screamed. It was like my worst nightmare. But anyway, the women all came rushing out from the room, and what's wrong, what's wrong? And there was this one deaf woman who was a good friend of my grandmother's, and I pointed to the scorpion, like I was there, on top of the chair, screaming my head off, and she smashed it with her shoe and made like it turned to mush on the ground with all the babies and everything squished with it. So she talked to my grandmother, and I could never understand what she said, so my grandmother would always tell me what she was saying. And she said, why is she so afraid? I mean, why is she scared of the scorpion? And my grandmother said, well, she's just terrified. She's always been that way. I mean, and it was true that I would touch spiders, mice, lizards, but scorpions, there was just something about them that just terrified me. So she bent down, this deaf woman, and no disrespect intended, but I don't want to say her name. And she bent down and she put her finger in the mush, and it just horrified me. And then even worse, she stood up and pressed it right between my brows. And she bent down, and this is what my grandmother was telling me. She put her finger in my face, and she said, you will never be afraid of them anymore, because you'll always see them before they can sting you. And I mean, my eyes kind of went cross, and I'm looking at her and I can feel the stirring of the air across this wet spot on my forehead, and I'm horrified. I'm thinking, scorpion juice on my face, oh my God. Right? I mean, I wouldn't touch a scorpion. I wouldn't let anyone come near me. I would not, but there was the mush, the babies and everything were just on my face, right? And I was horrified, but I was afraid to wipe it off. I didn't even want to touch it to wipe it off. So she said that to me. And strangely enough, if you believe in spooky stuff, I have never been stung by a scorpion. Everybody in my household has been stung by a scorpion at one time or the other. I mean, I've stepped on scorpions with my bare feet, and the only reason I knew I stepped on a scorpion was because the cat was there, sniffing at it, and I went over to see what the cat was looking at, and I realized that that thing that I felt under my foot that felt like a piece of dried grass, that was actually a scorpion, and it didn't sting me. I've seen them countless times, but whenever we'd find a scorpion in the house, my grandmother would take the body and she would drop it into a bottle of or a jar of white rum, and she would keep this, and whenever you got a sting or a bite, she would put some of the rum on the area that you'd got bitten at, and it would take the pain away. So there's some homegrown medicines, a slice of life in Jamaica for ya. Hope you enjoyed it. Scorpion juice. Good for whatever ails you.